This is DIY Hi-Fi Life. In today's episode, we examine the vibration of the HW-19 and figure out what to do about it. Today on DIY Hi-Fi Life. Welcome back. I'm Chris Barker for DIY Hi-Fi Life, and I appreciate you joining us for this second episode in a series of episodes about upgrading the legendary VPI HW-19 turntable. I think you're going to enjoy this episode because I'm doing some interesting things to discover how much vibration is really generated by the HW-19 and its motor assembly. And I've discovered two ways to examine this. I felt that if we're going to really quantify any modifications that we do, we need to be able to measure the before and after to have some actual statistics to compare after doing the upgrades. So I'm going to show you two techniques I discovered to test the vibration and hum and noise of the HW-19. One is an analog way of doing it that is kind of neat. And the other uses something that everybody has, and it's an amazing tool, and it looks like this. It's your cell phone that you're carrying around. So, as I said, we're going to use these two techniques. So, as far as the cell phone goes, I did a little research and came upon the idea that every cell phone that people carry around has something called an accelerometer built in. It's a microscopic item inside of your cell phone that measures how you move the phone around. So it automatically knows its orientation when you pick it up and move it around. And the programmers make use of this in various ways. I actually found a white paper online, interesting enough, called Vibration Analysis Using Mobile Devices by the Institute of Structural Analysis and Dynamics. And I'll link that in the below information that you'll want to check out for all sorts of good links on this video. And in this white paper, it basically says that cell phones can be very useful in testing for vibration using the accelerometer. Now, of course, there are professional instruments that could be more accurate and more sensitive, but surprisingly, the cell phone measured up pretty well. And so you might want to look at that white paper if you're curious about how good the accelerometer really is in the cell phone. And as you'll see in my testing, it actually is quite good and was very useful in doing some tests. I made use of two applications, both free. One's called the iDynamics app, which is actually published by this same institute that put out the white paper. And I also use something called the Physics Toolbox Accelerometer. And you can use both. And both of them yielded pretty much the same results. So it's really up to you which one you want to use because, of course, they're using the accelerometer in the cell phone. So the results should be pretty much identical. Now, the other option you have that I wanted to do is something called a mechanic stethoscope, which kind of looks like this. So we all know about stethoscopes that doctors use. Well, mechanics use something like this to typically check out noises in engines and other devices that they want to figure out what's going on. And so basically you just put these in your ears and then put this tube, it's just a hollow basically tube, I think, that you then tap next to the various parts that you want to hear any noises. And so it's actually very sensitive, so be careful with your ears and all that. And so in a moment I'll show you a video where I actually use this to go around the perimeter of the HW-19 turntable and test if there's any noise that I'm detecting via my ears. So I think that's another good way to kind of see what's going on. So I think between the two tools, the mechanic stethoscope and the cell phone, I have a pretty good handle now about what is the level of noise in the HW-19 and what we need to do about it. Spoiler alert, the good news is the HW-19 is a very quiet turntable. There's just no doubt about it. And the little noise I'm hearing is centered right at the motor itself, which is not surprising. And I think I have an idea where we can actually maybe improve that just a little bit and maybe cut off that remaining noise, even though it really doesn't seem to be leaking into the rest of the turntable. It can't hurt if we can dampen that noise, I figure. I think it'll pay dividends down the road as we finish the turntable. So in a moment, I'll have these videos for you, and we can see exactly where the noise is and see what we might want to do about it. Okay, so we're doing the first test on the platter, and I imported it into an Excel spreadsheet, and you can see there's really no detection of any vibration. We're now doing the arm board of the turntable using the physics app, and really not detecting any noise there as well. Now we're directly over the motor, but not in contact with the motor, and again, not really registering any real noise or vibration even at this location. And now we're using the frame on the left side, and I think I saw just a little bit of an increase here, but it may not be that easily detected. Using the iDynamics app this time to detect the vibration, and when I import it into Excel, it seems like there's a little bit of a detection there, possibly. And now in contact directly on top of the motor, and we obviously will see a dramatic detection of motor vibration here, as you see coming up, and now with the import into Excel. And we'll repeat this experiment with the iDynamics app, and it's pretty dynamic as well when brought into Excel. Okay, so we have here the VPI HW-19 turntable frame exposed, and I have turned on the motor, and we're going to use the mechanics stethoscope to go around the various parts of the frame and motor area to determine where we can hear any motor vibration or noise. So I'm going to stick these in my ears. They're a little uncomfortable, but for short periods it's not too bad. And go ahead and start my probe. So we'll start over here in this corner, and I don't hear anything. No motor noise at all. We'll go over here on this side and do a test, and no more motor noise at all, no vibration coming through at all. Let's go to this corner on the frame. I'm not hearing any noise at all. Let's get a little bit closer. Let's go ahead to part of the motor cowling on the frame here. No noise at all. These are all very good signs. Okay, check the screw head here. No noise. No noise. Now, of course, the motor is suspended from this top plate, so we're going to definitely hear some noise up here. So let's go ahead and check here. Yep. Actually, interestingly, right near the motor here, it's fairly quiet. I can hear the motor, but no hum. Now, when I move farther away, I can definitely hear a hum. And when I get out here, I can hear quite a bit of hum. So we definitely want to make sure, kind of the farther away where we have these unsuspended or unsupported areas, that we put some good dampening material out here. Yep, that screw, I can hear it. Now let's check underneath here, the motor mount, and I can hear nothing. So that's really good. These are rubberized mounts here, so that's a really good sign. Yep, hum over here, hum here. Yeah, so pretty much most of this top plate, there's some level of hum. At the extremities, it's more intense, which we'll make sure to note when we're doing our dampening remediation. So there you have it, a test using a mechanic stethoscope to check out the noise levels of the VPI HW-19 turntable. Okay, well, now that we've gotten the vibration testing done and we have some benchmarks that we've established that we'll refer to down the road as we work on the turntable and retest and remeasure, the next thing to do is install the footers. I purchased some new footers to replace the stock VPI HW-19 feet, which are fairly modest, and they are very easy to install. I just chose to go with some that I found on eBay that I've bought before, and I think they're of reasonable quality and look pretty nice, and are a good upgrade. They cost about $75. I'll have links down below that you'll want to check out. So, of course, you could actually purchase the latest feet that VPI makes for their pro level turntables they currently sell, and they're quite a bit more expensive. But if you want those, that's fine. That'll work too. I think the feet that I've got here are appropriate for what we're working with and do the job very nicely. So let's take a quick look at the footer installation. Very simple to upgrade. Okay, so now we've gotten through the vibration testing and analysis, and we've got the footer installed, and next we'll be working on the actual motor housing and applying some remediation for that vibration we were hearing. The good news, as I said earlier, is the VPI is already a very quiet turntable. I don't really see that the motor noise is contributing very much into the rest of the turntable, and I don't think that's really going to be a problem for the most part. But again, if we can do a little bit more work there, I don't see how that could hurt either, and could maybe reap some small benefits as well. And we'll test it out again, like I did, and we'll see if at least from a measurement standpoint, we detect a lowering of the perceived noise at the motor. So that'll be coming up in the next episode of VPI HW-19 upgrade series, and I do appreciate you tuning in, and the subscribe and likes are always helpful, and we're building this channel slowly but very steadily, and I'm appreciative of all of the comments that are coming in, and please do check out the information down below for links on some of the topics I mentioned here in this video, and also take a look at some of the links, affiliated links for some free music trials, and also some curated music that you can freely download and sample that you might find very interesting. So once again, this is Chris Barker for DIY Hi-Fi Life, signing out.